What is up, you bipedal pigs? Today I will be talking about a game which I regard as the diamond in the vast sea of rough Ubisoft excrement. But does it still hold up, 8 years later? And are the achievements as good as the game itself? I will be giving my perspective in this video. South Park: The Stick of Truth is a parody semi-fantasy RPG title set in the town of South Park, Colorado, familiar to us all from the TV show with the same name. The world and characters of South Park are portrayed so well and in such an authentic manner that the game really feels like a long episode of the show. Even though I never really got into the show, I instantly felt integrated into the world from the very beginning. The humor of The Stick of Truth also incredibly well done and pokes good fun of the fantasy genre, which makes playing the game fun and refreshing. Perusing through the Steam page of The Stick of Truth, one might notice that the game also has a large variety of achievements, and at first glance they seem fun and well made. I mean, there's an achievement for shitting your pants on 3 separate occasions in the game. How often do you see that for an achievement? In this video I will lay out to you my experience with the achievements, including a ranking, and give you some tips and tricks for the road for when you decide to take on the challenge yourself. I will try to make the review spoiler free, but honestly so much weird shit happens in the game. You should really rather treat it as a roller coaster, rather than a meticulously crafted award-winning Hollywood movie. Even if you know exactly what to expect, you are guaranteed to have fun, and you really mainly came here because you're pissed drunk and just looking for a good time. In short, the achievements most certainly live up to the overwhelmingly positive reviews of the game. They essentially encourage you to experience everything the game has to offer, as any set of achievements should, and also gives you some additional fun shit to do in the meantime. For example, it makes you fart on a dead Nazi fetus inside an abortion clinic, shit your pants during a boss fight, and fart on some of the highest figures of authority you meet. I do now realize that a lot of the game's humor revolves around fart and turd jokes, but hey, give it some slack, 2014 was a far more simpler time. The biggest challenge of the achievements in this game is also the biggest bane of all achievement hunters: missables. They are taken to the extreme in this game. Almost every single category of achievements has some aspects of it which can be missed at some point of the game or another. If you want to complete the Stick of Truth in one go, which admittedly isn't the intended way to play, as there are 4 distinct classes in the game to experience, you first have to do quite a lot of research beforehand. Half of my attention during playing the story went to keeping track on my phone of the chronological list of missables featured in the game. Speaking of which, I will feature a link of the most useful guide I found in the comments section. Essentially, the idea is that you want to loot everything you possibly can, while in areas exclusive to the story. But there are some things that you just wouldn't know to do and would almost certainly miss without looking at guides. For example, there is one quest which can only be completed at a certain time in the story, but you are never told about it. Or that to get all possible friends, you have to befriend Clyde, even though there is only a single possible very not obvious moment in the game that you can do so. The biggest tip I can give to you guys is that you should save your game as much as possible. It seems obvious, but it's especially useful in this game, as there is no chapter select as far as I know. So if you don't want to replay the whole game because you failed a segment where you could get an achievement, make sure to save constantly. Be careful with the saves though, as they work differently from most games. Instead of when loading a save, continuing straight where you left off, you are thrown back to the last checkpoint before you save. Therefore, if you pick up any collectibles after reloading a save, make sure to get them again. I almost made the mistake of loading a save and missing a Chimpokemon collectible because of it, but I happened to check my collectibles list that very moment in the game and noticed I had missed it, so I could run back and grab it before it was too late. So, either during your first playthrough, or second if you want to fully immerse in the story during the first, you have to follow a guide. I again recommend the one I linked down below, as it is true and tested by yours truly. However, I would like to add to that guide that you have to choose the Jewish class at the start of the game for an achievement, and it doesn't mention that. Also, there is a certain moment in the game where you have to kill some small gnomes. This again is not referenced in the guide, but you should take this moment to earn the rebuttal achievement. Just drink mana potions during the fight and fart on the one that does channeling when they do that. The reason this is the best spot for this achievement is because the enemies inflict almost no damage in this fight. Another 2 achievements that you should pay attention to from the start of the run are the No Child Left Behind and for the Hoarder. For these you have to not let a buddy get knocked out during any fight, and not sell any junk items respectively. The first is not as hard as it sounds, as it actually means you cannot end any fight with a buddy knocked out. Them doing so during the fight is actually okay. So, you should always carry a lot of revival items with you, just in case. You can buy them from the start of the game from the homeless vendor. The second one is not even worth that much attention, as you will get more than good enough equipment from the story quests, so you'll not run out of money anyway. At the end of the game, when you have got all the missable stuff already, it is time to get all the collectibles in the open world. Now you can let your buddies die and also sell junk items. You will need a lot of money to buy everything you're missing, but you should have just enough to get it if you have looted everything you could during the story quests. Keep in mind that you can sell all equipment and equipment upgrades at the shops, as you only need to own them at least once for them to count towards the achievements. For the combat achievements, they are thankfully really easy. The two ones I didn't have at the end of the game were Ass of Fire and You Bastards, but neither took up too much of my time completing. I cannot emphasize my happiness regarding that fact enough, as I hate it when RPGs stuff meaningless combat stat achievements in their games, which are so annoying to farm for, after finishing everything fun the game has to offer. When it comes to the design and naming of the achievements, there isn't a whole lot to say. The titles are clever and fun, but the images themselves seem to be quite lazily designed, mostly just grabbing frames from the game. However, the requirements are really well done, as they do require you to experience mostly everything the game has to offer, as good achievements should, while not bombarding you with useless filler to make achieving them artificially harder. So yeah, what can I say, I enjoyed the achievements and the whole game immensely. Both together took me only 14 hours of gameplay, which was just the right length for me to stay interested in the game and its mechanics, while getting to experience everything it had to offer in depth. The only criticism I have is that they really could have included a level or even checkpoint selector after the game, so that you could go back and pick up everything you missed before. Also, the choice to make saves start from the last checkpoint makes no sense to me, and complicates things unnecessarily. Considering all that, I will give the Stick of Truth the A tier ranking. You might notice that I moved all my rankings down by one spot, as I fear the list might become too top heavy in the future otherwise. S tier should be reserved for the best of the best, and the games currently there do all have some flaws, albeit minor. Well, that is again the end of another video. Bye.